though, as an 8th vaping-related death was just confirmed today. An El Cajon City Council member is spearheading an effort to potentially ban the sale of all or some vaping-related products here in the city.
I'm trying to take an abundance of caution and protect our children and our citizens from dangerous devices.
El Cajon City Council member Gary Kendrick is proposing an ordinance to limit the sale of vaping products.
The most severe would be a complete ban of vaping devices.
Meaning places like smoke shops, liquor stores, and gas stations would no longer be allowed to sell vaping products. If, however, the council decides that's too stringent, Kendrick says he'd like to at least ban the sale of certain juice flavors.
Bubble gum, cotton candy that are clearly targeting the kids.
This father of 3 says with 8 deaths nationwide and more than 500 recent lung illnesses linked to vaping, an ordinance is necessary.
So when we started doing research, we found out that 23% of high school students have used vaping devices in the last month.
El Cajon City Council members will discuss the proposed ordinance at its meeting on October 8th at 3 p.m. It's about 3 weeks from now to give people enough time to prepare for public testimony. If any ordinance is passed that night, it could take effect immediately.
We could actually declare a public health emergency and have it take effect right away on a 4/5 vote.
Kendrick expects city council chambers will be packed with protesters and supporters, but believes a healthy dialogue will result in an outcome that's best for the city.
Primary function of a city council is to protect the citizens, and the children are the ones that need the most protection.
The CDC and the FDA continue to recommend that people do not vape while they continue their investigation into recent deaths and illnesses. Kendrick says if an all-out ban on vaping products here in El Cajon is passed, he would include a sunset provision that if the FDA does conclude vaping is safe, the ordinance would expire.